What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Pace Studio here in Midtown Manhattan, New York City. We are broadcasting to you live from the Manhattan Center on 34th Street as always, and with us right now is a very, very special guest. This is Myles Kennedy on my right. What's going on, man?
How you doing?
Good.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming to Paste. Myles, you got your first solo album after all these years. First solo record's coming out. It's called Year of the Tiger. It's out on March 9th, and I'm listening to it. It's a fucking great record.
Thanks, man.
Like a new sound for you.
Yeah.
Some acoustic stuff, some very kind of dusty, not sort of like, you know, the metal has been kind of brought down a notch, which sounds great. So we're going to hear a couple of these songs sort of in their original format.
In their domain.
Yeah, in their domain. So a couple of new songs we're going to hear, plus a very older one. So let's start it off with a song. Tell me a little bit about this first one.
Yeah. So this is a song. It's actually probably one of my favorite songs on the record. It was actually inspired by drinking way too much coffee one morning. I got up and I was hanging out with my wife and my dogs, and started to get a little bit of the jitters. So I do what I often do at that point, and picked up a guitar, and this little riff came out, and it kind of reminded me a lot, actually, of Mississippi John Hurt, and that's usually my go-to when I feel any sort of anxiety. As I listen to Mississippi John Hurt, it's like the best. Just a hint for all you watchers: if you ever feel anxious, listen to some Mississippi John Hurt. So I started playing this pattern, and then my wife Selena walked in the room. She's like, "I like that." And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll turn it into a song. And so I was kind of hesitant at first because it was so different, and it had such kind of, you know, with the fingerstyle pattern and the feel, kind of had a country vibe. And I wasn't sure how people would react to it, but I knew I liked it. So it's like, oh, screw it. I'll just do it regardless. And it's turned out to be one of my favorites. So this is called Haunted by Design.
All right.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lately I've been losing sleep, haunted by design. I'm my own worst enemy when I try to close my eyes. Voices in my weary head, they never let me be. Turning every fear and dread from a whisper to a scream. I keep searching, I can't find any kind of respite from the noise inside. The clock is laughing, don't ask me why. In the holes of my mind, I'm still haunted by design. Haunted by design. Restless scenes and fever dreams, they never giving way. When I should be counting sheep, I'm counting my last days. Soon the morning sun will rise to overtake the moon. Like the ghost of death arrived and took my love too soon. I keep searching, I can't find any kind of respite from the noise inside. The clock is laughing, don't ask me why. In the holes of my mind, I'm still haunted by design. Haunted by design. Those who worry suffer twice, this I must concede. I think it's time to close my eyes, slumber rescue me. Yeah, I keep searching, I can't find any kind of respite from the noise inside. The clock is laughing, don't ask me why. In the hole my mind. I'm still haunted by design. Haunted by design. Haunted by design. Haunted by design. Thank you.
Guys, thank you so much. I should say that Myles is joined today by Tim Tournier on guitar.
You pronounced that so well.
Oh, thanks,
like,
man.
A lot of people butcher his last name, so
I managed to spell it right on my first try
did,
too.
you
guys
did.
saw that. The world did not witness that, but it happened.
And as a really bad speller that I am, to someone that can spell as well as you, I'm so envious of that talent.
Yeah, well, you know, that's very disproportionate envy coming back the other way. So you can live with it, trust me. So Myles, you know, all right. So let me go back a little bit. Most people know you singing with Mayfield 4, Alter Bridge, Slash's band. You know, you're a metal singer. I was listening to this record. And it's obviously like this is sort of what it sounds like. It's an acoustic record. It's got a lot of sort of blues and country elements to it. I was listening to the first single, and there's some Zeppelin 3 mandolin going on in there. So tell me, like, why that sound for this record? How'd that all come about?
I think it's just something I've always loved. You know, since I was a kid. You know, when I first discovered a couple things. You know, Zeppelin obviously stumbled onto a few records that you know, friends had and whatnot that were more acoustic based, and I remember I really liked it, and listened to a lot of that music, absorbed a lot of that music throughout my career as a musician, but never really had the opportunity to kind of explore that side of things to a point, but never to this degree.
Yeah.
And so. Yeah, it was always there. It was a real neat. It was kind of a selfish endeavor. I wasn't sure if anybody would want to come along for the ride. I was actually, to be honest with you, a little concerned about that because I am known as being a hard rock singer and whatnot, and generally you hear my voice in the context of very loud sonic landscapes, and this is obviously more subdued.
Yeah.
But it was really necessary for me just to get this off my chest, and I had so much fun doing it. Hopefully I can, if people are into it, I'd love to do it again in the future.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that definitely stood out for me is that your voice. Your voice sort of like it dominates the mix as you'd expect, but it's in a lower register. It's a little bit more subdued. It's a little bit more, I don't know, like reflective maybe.
Yeah.
Were you looking to sing in a different kind of style than you normally do?
Absolutely, yeah. I think, one of the interesting things about when you're playing in a hard rock context as a singer is you either kind of do this guttural primal scream, which I don't really have. It's like a lot of the newer metal guys. That's what they do, and I don't have that in my vocal
That's sort of
game.
like the throaty kind of growling scream.
Yeah, which is really cool sounding in that context. My voice doesn't really do that, but so I opt for let's just kind of shoot for the rafters and get it up over the mix with the higher approach. And that's obviously something that's been around since the late '60s and '70s. Guys like Robert Plant and whatnot were doing that to cut through the mix.
Yeah.
But yeah, with this, I wanted to take the opportunity to kind of put things in the basement vocally, and I think that it helps because it's such a personal story. This record and such a kind of documents this period in my life that was difficult, and I wanted to convey the emotions differently as opposed to
Yeah.
a little and keep it not quite like that, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're probably a little easier to tour on too.
I hope so.
Singing this way, yeah.
I hope so. Yeah, we'll certainly find out here in a few weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, touring with the higher stuff all the time and trying to keep up with the guitars that are as loud as jet airliner engines. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. So we're gonna do a couple more. This next one also from Year of the Tiger. Tell me a little bit about what we're doing next.
So this is the title track, and this is kind of the preface to the whole record, and it's sung from my mother's perspective. My father passed away when I was 4 years old, and so the Year of the Tiger is the year that he passed away. So this essentially sets up the entire record, and the record is it's kind of a concept record. It's not kind of, it is a concept record, and this theme runs throughout. So this kind of sets up the whole thing, and the journey begins with Year of the Tiger.
All right.
All right. We can't go on at all. Yeah. In the year of the tiger, I heard a nightmare scream. Could have found it in the very future dream. In the year of the tiger, well, you best believe I'm haunted by the visions that I've seen. On a cold, cruel July, we didn't know just when the pale horse would arrive. But love alone keeps us alive when we feel we can't go on in the year of the tiger, into an ocean grave, threw his ashes to the wind and walked away. In the year of the tiger, I got no time to waste. A resolution to keep fighting and remain on a cold, cruel July. We didn't know just when the pale horse would arrive. But love alone keeps us alive when we feel we can't go on at all. Can't go on at all. Yeah, yeah. In the year of the tiger, in the year of the tiger, in the year of the tiger, in the year of the tiger.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. So that is the title track to the new record. And as I was sort of reading about the record and listening to it, I learned that you'd written this record about your father's death and sort of the events surrounding it. And I guess what surprised me as I was reading along was that this event actually occurred like over 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Which inspires the title. And then further, I found out that this was actually like your second attempt at making this record. And I started to think, man, a lot of history has gone into this thing. I mean, did it take you this long to get to this point to be able to write these kinds of songs?
Yeah, it did. You know, I made an entire record, wrote it, recorded it, had it mixed. And it wasn't from a theme standpoint. It didn't fall in line with this concept. But I just knew that it wasn't what I initially set out to do, especially from an arrangement standpoint. There was still enough of an element of the louder guitars, wall of Marshalls that were creeping their way in, because it was kind of the comfort zone. And so when I listened to it, I was like, this is kind of diluting things a little bit. You've already got these other entities you've been a part of where you get to make this kind of music. So do something different, man. And it's going to really hurt, and this is going to suck for you because you're going to have to start all over again. And that's a bitter pill to swallow. But I'm glad I did that. I remember listening to the whole record, probably the whole first record at the end of 2016, and just being really honest with myself and saying, okay, this isn't the one. So let's start writing again. And I'm glad I did that, because it feels, I'm very, very happy with how record number 2 turned out. I feel like it's a lot more focused and made the statement I was hoping to make.
Yeah. Did you know as you were making the first one, was there something in your mind saying like, this isn't exactly what I'm supposed to be doing right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were moments when I started to wonder if I'd kind of lost the plot, as they say, and so yeah. So it was just, maybe one day some of those songs will come out. And there are moments on that record that are closer to this, but then there are other moments where it's like, whoa, hey bro, make up your mind.
And so you started completely from scratch. Like the songs on Year of the Tiger were not maybe like you'd started writing them a few years back and realized you wanted to pick those back up. Like you started completely
for the most
from the beginning?
Part. There's one song that I almost didn't record again. It's called Love Can Only Heal. And I knew it was a special song on the first record, and it certainly has, it had the overall flavor and mood that I was hoping to achieve with this record. And I remember playing the demo for Michael Basquiat, who produced this record. And he was, man, that's a really wonderful song. You should consider putting that on the record. So that was the only one. But what we did is we took the demo vocal that I recorded on my laptop in my basement, and we basically built everything around that. So didn't use anything from the actual big recording.
Which seems sort of to be in step with the general feeling of this record.
Yeah,
a little bit more organic, a little bit more sort of personal.
Yeah,
solo.
Definitely. It's a solo record.
It's a solo record.
It's not a. So that turned out. I'm really happy with how that song turned out, because it's I wasn't sure what was going to happen there. But fortunately, so that was the only one. Everything else, but I will say that the song "Year of the Tiger," it's kind of a funny story behind that. Years ago, I was probably during the writing of the first record. This is going to sound weird. I was mowing my lawn. And I like to do things like mow my lawn or wash my dishes. I liked to mow my lawn until I realized that I was getting sinus infections, because apparently I have a grass allergy.
Yeah, man.
So the doctor was like, no more of that. But back when I used to do that, good ideas would pop in my head. And one day I hear this, "In the year of the tiger, I won't weep and moan." And I was like, I turned off the lawnmower, and I was like, I don't know what that is, but I like it. So I recorded it. I had no idea what Year of the Tiger meant. And so that was always kind of sitting in the vault in the back of my mind for a long time. So that really is just the genesis of that idea, and Love Can Only Heal are the only two that had existed previous to, last year.
Yeah, cool. And speaking of things that existed previous to last year, I know the third song you're going to do is an old blues tune. I don't know which one exactly. We talked about Robert Johnson a little bit before we started. He obviously is, a kingpin of this kind of music. Have you been playing Robert Johnson songs and that kind of stuff your whole life?
Not my whole life. I guess it was something I really discovered, interestingly enough, obviously through Zeppelin, and, turned me on to a lot of that, Willie Dixon and all that. But it was the Eric Clapton Unplugged record in the 90s. And I remember when I heard that record, I was like, wow, I love so many of these songs. And then I researched where they came from, and I discovered, I spent more time then diving into Robert Johnson and Big Bill Brunsey. And I really loved the idea that it sounded like there were two guitar players playing, it's that right hand, which I don't have mastered by any means, but I appreciate it. And it's something I aspired. I was sitting, in my hotel room on tour or whatever, and just try and develop it the best I could, And So yeah, I've played this song, "Travel and Riverside Blues," off and on throughout the years. It's probably one of my favorite Robert Johnson songs, just because of the pulse. There's a certain pulse to it that just. I remember the first time I heard it, it just makes you want to dance.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do kind of an abbreviated version of "Travel and Riverside Blues."
Cool.
Cool. All right. After I have my swig of moonshine. No, it's water.
Yeah, that's how Robert Johnson bit it, man. Never drink from a previously opened bottle.
Exactly. That's actually a good point.
Yeah, who knows who? Did someone else open that bottle of water?
Yeah,
One of our guys?
Is someone trying to take me down here?
That's what they say.
If your man get personal, wants you to have your fun. If your man get personal, wants you to have your fun. Come on back to Fry Pond Mama now, beer house all night long. I got women's in Vicksburg, clean on into Tennessee. I got women's in Vicksburg, clean on into Tennessee. But my fried pot rider now, hops all over me. Here we go. You can squeeze my lemon till the juice run down my leg. You can squeeze my lemon till the juice run down my leg. But I'm going back to Fried Pond Mama now. I'll be rocking to my head.
Myles, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
Yeah, that sounds great.
it. Thank you. That was a lot of fun.
So, everybody, this, of course, is Myles Kennedy. First solo album ever, Year of the Tiger, coming out March 9th. There is some music to hear and tour dates to find on MylesKennedy.com. I know you're going on tour, starting out in South Africa.
Yeah.
Gonna hit Europe for a little while and then coming back stateside in the spring. There's a show here in New York City, May 22nd at the Highline Ballroom, so check that out. Pick up Year of the Tiger. You're gonna have to wait a couple more weeks, but it will arrive.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that's right. When is the next? I don't even know how the cycles go in the Chinese zodiac.
Yeah.
Is there, like the next Year of the Tiger? I wouldn't.
It's a ways away. I think last year might have been the Year of the Tiger. I think 17 might have been the Year of the Tiger. So I think it's a ways down the road.
a ways down the road.
Yeah. A lot of people I think thought that Year of the Tiger was about, if I'm correct, was about last year, but obviously not. So.
Yeah, no, obviously not. Yeah, and there'll be like a deluxe reissue with the B-sides and like the original first record next Year of the Tiger. Right?
Exactly.
That's right. Yeah. Just I'm all about marketing ideas, man.
Talk to my manager. You guys have some
totally.
great ideas.
All right, so cool. Year of the Tiger is the album. Go check out Myles Kennedy and pick it up. Check out songs on MylesKennedy.com. Dude, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For coming
Thank
to
you.
Pace and playing our
an
studio
honor.
for us today. Yeah, and when you swing around again, please play for us again, man.
We'd love to.
All right.
Cool.